Before I go, you need to know this. Not because I think I'm wiser than you are. Not because I lived some perfect, spotless life. I didn't. I made plenty of mistakes, hurt people I cared about, wasted years chasing things that turned out to be shadows. But because I've been here long enough, 98 years is a very long time, to see what really lasts and what quietly slips away without anyone noticing. 98 years old. When you're young, that number sounds like something from another planet, doesn't it? Like a story about somebody else's grandfather. To me, it doesn't feel like a number anymore. It feels like weight in my bones, like standing at the very end of a long dirt road I've been walking since before most of you were even a thought, and finally turning around to look back at the whole thing from way up high. From up here, the view is painfully clear. I wasn't always this old. I know that sounds obvious, almost foolish to say out loud. But when you're 20, 30, 40, you carry around this quiet certainty inside. Aging happens to other people. The clock will skip you just this once. I carried that same quiet lie. I was young and in a terrible hurry. I was sure about everything. I was convinced life was something I'd get around to later, after this job, after I saved enough, after the kids were grown, after I felt ready. Now there is no later. My hands shake when I try to hold a cup steady. Sometimes my memory wanders off in the middle of a sentence and leaves me standing there looking for the words like they fell behind the couch. But one thing has grown sharper with the years, almost too sharp. Clarity. Clarity comes late. It arrives when there's hardly any time left to do anything with it. That's the cruelest joke life ever plays. Before I leave, before this old body, which has carried me faithfully for nearly a century, finally decides to lie down for good, I want to pass on the few things I really learned. Not as a sermon, not as rules carved in stone. Just as one very tired old man talking to someone who still has most of the road ahead, and doesn't yet know how short even the longest road can feel. You wake up every morning caught inside a storm of urgency you can't even see. Phones buzzing, emails piling up, deadlines flashing red, people's opinions, yours included, swirling around like dust in the wind. You call that living. I call it distraction wearing a very convincing mask. I've watched whole lives disappear, not in big dramatic crashes, but in the slow, gentle drip of ordinary days nobody ever questioned. Jobs they hated but kept because that's what grown-ups do. Fights they kept having because letting go felt worse than winning. Fears they carried like family heirlooms. Don't do that. Don't say that. Don't be too much. Most people don't ruin their lives with one terrible decision. They hand them over quietly, one ordinary morning at a time, to things that never deserved them. You still believe you have time. That's the biggest, gentlest lie you keep telling yourself. You believe tomorrow is promised. You believe the people you love will always wait. You believe your body will keep saying yes, no matter how many late nights, skipped meals, ignored warning signs, years of quiet stress. It won't. I've stood at too many graves of people who were healthier than I was at their age, smarter, kinder, more talented. Time didn't care. Time doesn't feel sorry. Time doesn't bargain. Let me tell you about Elias. Elias was the picture of responsibility. He planned everything down to the last detail. He saved every penny he could. He worked overtime because it was the right thing. He treated joy like something you had to earn first. He treated rest like a luxury he hadn't qualified for yet. He treated love like it would always be sitting on the shelf waiting when he finally had a free weekend. Elias died at 61. No car wreck, no long illness. Just an ordinary Tuesday afternoon, sitting in his favorite chair with the newspaper open, and his heart decided that was enough. At the funeral, everyone said the same thing. He was a good man, solid, dependable. They were telling the truth, but he never lived like he had permission to enjoy being good. He never let himself breathe deeply, look at the ocean without thinking about the next task, hold someone close without checking his watch. That day I finally understood something that still hurts. A life can be perfectly respectable from beginning to end and still be completely empty inside. Most of the fears that keep you frozen aren't even yours. They were handed down to you by parents who were afraid, by schools that wanted obedience more than curiosity, by a world that runs smoother when people doubt themselves. You're afraid of what people will think, afraid of failing in front of others, afraid of choosing the wrong path. Let me lift at least one of those weights off your shoulders right now. Nobody is watching you nearly as closely as you imagine. Everyone is far too busy wrestling their own invisible battles to keep a scorecard on your life. You won't be remembered for playing it safe. You won't be remembered for being careful. Truth is, most of us are barely remembered at all. And strange as it sounds, that isn't depressing. It's permission. Permission to stop performing for an audience that was never really watching. I've lived through 98 years of human foolishness and beauty. I've seen empires rise up proud and tall and then crumble into footnotes. I've seen ideas everyone swore were eternal truths become laughingstocks 10 years later. I've seen fashions, certainties, moral panics come and go like clouds across the sky. The world changes its mind every few years, sometimes every few months. Why on earth would you build the foundation of your one irreplaceable life on something that fickle? Here is a truth that stings like salt in a cut at first, but eventually brings relief. Your job is not your purpose. It's a trade. You give hours of your life and in return you get money. That's the whole deal. If you're fortunate, that money buys you time and space to live the life you actually want. If you're not careful, and most people aren't, the job quietly becomes the life, and you never notice until it's too late. I've watched people give entire decades to being responsible, only to reach retirement age with nothing left to retire to, no dreams left, no energy left, no curiosity left. I've seen parents who told themselves they were providing security, while their children grew up wondering why mom or dad was always half present, even when they were sitting right there at the table. And I've seen people wait. Lord, how they wait. They wait until they feel confident enough. They wait until they've saved enough. They wait until everyone else approves. They wait for the stars to align, for the perfect moment, for permission from people who will never give it. And then they die waiting. When I look back now, the big achievements I once chased so hard are blurry, almost meaningless. They blend together like old photographs left too long in the sun. What stays sharp, painfully, beautifully sharp, are the small, quiet moments I nearly let slip by. The night my daughter needed to talk and I stayed up until dawn listening instead of checking my watch. The afternoon I walked in the rain with my wife, no destination, no hurry. Just the sound of water and our footsteps. The morning I chose to sit in silence with an old friend instead of rushing off to another important meeting. Those moments cost nothing, and they were worth more than any title, any bank balance, any applause I ever received. Before I go, listen to this carefully. Happiness isn't something you chase down like a prize at the end of a race. It's what shows up when you stop betraying your own heart. Every time you say yes when everything inside you is screaming no, you give away a small piece of yourself. Every time you postpone the life your soul keeps whispering about in favor of the life you think you're supposed to live, you plant another seed of quiet resentment. That resentment doesn't vanish. It waits, it grows roots, and one day it blossoms into a regret so heavy no accomplishment can cover it. You don't need a flawless 5-year plan. You don't need absolute certainty. You don't need the whole world's permission. You need courage. Courage to start before you feel ready. Courage to disappoint people who love their idea of you more than they love the real you. Courage to choose being present over being productive every single day. Let me give you the only 3 things I wish someone had sat me down and told me when I was still running like my hair was on fire. First, stop postponing joy. There is no future version of you who will suddenly deserve to be happy. That version isn't coming. The one breathing right now is the only one you've got. Second, guard your attention like it's the last breathable air in the room. Whatever you give your attention to becomes the texture, the flavor, the color of your entire existence. Every mindless scroll, every pointless argument, every forced yes steals another irreplaceable piece of your life. Third, tell the truth sooner, to yourself first, even when looking in the mirror hurts, then to the people who matter, even when your voice shakes. The words you swallow don't disappear. They harden inside you. They turn into stones you carry until your last day. I am 98 years old. My body is exhausted. My time is measured in weeks now, perhaps months if I'm lucky. But I am calm, not because I got everything right. Lord knows I didn't. But because I finally understand the only thing that really matters. Life was never about getting it perfect. It was about being awake while it was happening. Before I go, I need you to hear this one last time. You are already late, and you are still exactly on time. Late if you keep waiting for the perfect moment, for total approval, for unbreakable certainty. Right on time if you decide today, right now, to take one honest step with whatever messy, imperfect courage you can find. Don't die with your life still locked inside you. Don't let the song you came here to sing stay silent in your chest. Go live it while there is still breath in your lungs, while your heart is still beating, while there is still a tomorrow you can reach out and touch. Go live.